Todd, thanks for hopping on. Jared, thanks for hopping on. Jared, this might be good for you to chime in with as well. Lindsay was suggesting that we talk a little bit about the Arive integration, or I mean, not necessarily the Arive integration, but Arive's API and being able to push milestone update notifications through Go HighLevel. I know that you already, and I don't know, Jared, you might not be listening to this. If you are, great. I know that you have an Arive integration set up, so I'm curious if you're willing to share some information about the integration that you have set up, what you're using it for.
Yeah, I do. We're using it for 3 use cases, so mostly pulling all the information over and doing a weekly update of statuses that kind of show where we estimated dates of when things were going to get done and then actual dates of when they happened. And then we use all the Arive interface just to send out milestone updates.
Got it.
And then we're pushing listing agents into a pipeline, a workflow to go after them, to try and convert to sending us business. And also had to figure out when to pull in co-borrower or other borrowers. That was another fun use case of, because you don't really want to do that at initial app because you don't know if you are going to have one or not have one. But you obviously want to market to those people over time too. So,
and so
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Each of my zaps are about 10. I can pull up my zap and show it to you if you want, but it's about 10 functions in each zap. And I have about 10 zaps per transaction.
And then do you run these, you run them like on a scheduled basis, or is there anything that triggers, like, is there something within Arive that's triggering the zap?
Status updates trigger the zap, and then you're sending out communications that says this is like, basically like, this is what we expected, how soon we expected it to happen, this is when it actually happened. Is that, so that workflow is happening on Fridays, so just on Fridays of giving like a weekly update on here's what happened for the week, and essentially here's what's projected for next week.
Well, if you're willing to open up the zap for us, that'd be awesome. That'd be a huge value, I'm sure, for anybody watching this.
Yeah, I'll open it up right now.
And then for those of you guys that don't know, Jared is with Barrett Financial. And Jared has a pretty sweet setup in his HighLevel account and helps out some other LOs at Barrett with the same.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Computer's freezing. Okay, here we go. So we have a full loan information inside of our whole HighLevel. Obviously, we want to pull all this information in so we can search it later.
We're on your Slack channel is what we're seeing.
There we go. You're seeing, is that better?
There we go. Yeah.
Highlighted. Okay,
perfect.
So I have a workflow that I just created too, just to say anytime that there's an interest rate that's been sitting in here for 9 months, that's at a certain number to trigger something. So I think that's super important to pull all this over. But this is where we're hosting all of it, just in loan information. Listing agent then goes into a workflow to go, hit them. But here's all kind of the stages. I'm actually redoing a couple of them right now. So let's go into probably the most complicated one, which would be loan setup, offer accepted. Do you want me to just walk through this, kind of the whole thought process in it?
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with, man. This is great.
I don't care. It's pretty detailed. So obviously you have to link each person's individual Arive. We're continuing only if it's in a certain stage. Please look up in Arive their their notes on, because it doesn't quite like, even though they've labeled this qualification and it's actually labeled something else on their backend API. So just make sure that those are matching, because I was like, obviously they labeled the same thing they labeled it on the GUI interface, and that's not the case. And then we're pulling in loan detail. So there's two different, you're pulling in a lot more information. This is the new update that Arive did maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago. So you got to pull in both the status and the loan details.
Oh, okay.
And so you use this to gather the ID.
So if you go into edit mode, we should be able to see like your sample data that's pulling through.
What's going on here? Have me sign
out. Continue.
Regardless, I mean, all I'm doing is I'm just pulling the loan number, because when you pull in the Arive detail, the only way that you can pull in the details is if you pull in a loan number, and I'm grabbing the loan number in this trigger and putting it into this, pull the details. Another super annoying one that you have to do is Arive doesn't have a function, an API piece that you can pull over the actual loan amount. So I had to build a Zapier to add the base loan amount to any financed fees to actually get the actual loan amount. And that's important because we put that as the opportunity number. So that we're tracking that in too. So
you put that in as the opportunity value.
Correct.
Is what, right? Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm duplicating some of this just to make sure that it's happening. So first name, last name, phone numbers, source, we pull in lead source. If there isn't a lead source, then the assumption is it's probably the real estate agent. So we have that as a secondary backup to the source, and then we push this source to opportunity source as well. So I have a workflow in HighLevel that says anything in this field, make the opportunity source, override it.
Gotcha.
Interest rate output. This is just, and then ours, I'm pulling in these referral partners. You have to make sure that you're pulling in the right real estate agent, because it's listed 3 different ways now. It's listed in Arive, it's listed as real estate agent buyer, real estate agent seller, and then real estate agent buyer and seller. So there's a separate API field that's pulling over if it represents, the agent represents both sides. I'm foregoing that and just saying that's only going to happen very rarely. I'm just not going to pull the information if it happens to go that way. This was an annoying thing that you may have. I had to make another custom field for birthday, because date of birth in HighLevel, like Arive only pulls over the date, the month, and the year, and it wasn't coming up as a field here. So I just wrote a workflow to copy, if anything ends up in this birthday field, to copy it into date of birth into HighLevel. So that
so date of birth wasn't accessible through Zapier, is what you're saying?
Correct.
So you're just updating a custom field, and then you'll trigger an update off of that custom field being filled out.
Correct. And the most important thing is just because HighLevel already has a workflow for date of births, that it's, you can do a lot around that day before, day after, week of date of birth. So I just pulled that over, and then I'm updating the opportunity as well. I have redundancy in here just again to make sure if there's something that didn't happen, it's updating the contact. So I'm updating this purchase pipeline to offer accepted. And then there's nothing else in this one. And then if at offer accepted, I'm pulling in the co-borrowers as well. So it's only continuing if there's a co-borrower, I'm bringing in that person's information. And then the same thing, I'm only continuing. This is if there's a real estate agent that's listed as a seller, real estate agent, I'm pulling that in as a contact and making this or pulling this in as an opportunity and putting that into the workflow to start marketing to the listing agent.
Sweet. Sweet. That's pretty sick, dude. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
I'm running that full script 10 times throughout the transaction.
Right on. Did you make a custom like contact type field inside of your contact to be able to differentiate, like when as you're creating multiple contacts in a transaction, to be able to say, okay, this contact type is a referral source agent, this contact type is a listing agent, and this contact type is a co-borrower, this contact type is a borrower? Do you have something like that in place?
No, it's just I have it. I don't know why. I must have closed that window or moved it when I moved my screen. You don't want all of this. I just have it listed under loan details of who the listing agent was for that loan.
Gotcha.
That is a issue that I had, and of just recreating the co-borrowers. Can you have high level triggers? So if I have someone that comes in here as like spouse, can I say if these fields are filled out to create a new contact?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So yeah, you'd do it in a workflow. You'd say, field change, when this field is changed or whatever.
It seemed like it was
Then
allowing me to create an opportunity, but I could create a new opportunity with field change, but I couldn't create a contact with field change.
yeah, you might have to webhook the information into a separate workflow. So you would do the premium workflow action, send a webhook, and you would create another workflow with a trigger that was receive, like catch a webhook, and then that whatever you would send your payload, basically your payload would be the listing agent information, and you would send that to your new workflow. And then that workflow would automatically create a contact with that information. Like your first step of that workflow is to create or update a contact. And so, yeah, I can show you if you want. I could show you on my end if that didn't make a ton of sense verbally.
Yeah, I mean, just use the webhook to do it. That makes sense.
Yeah, webhook out, webhook in. Only both sides of it are inside HighLevel.
Yeah.
Have you done anything with the premium workflow triggers? The webhook?
No.
Oh, cool. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. It does a lot. It goes a long way to help and replace Zapier.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not a Arive. A lot of great things in Arive. The only problem is it's built by tech people only. So I've even been on some of their beta stuff. And it's just, there's great stuff. It's just going to take double, triple the amount of time for it actually to be meaningful. So kind of similar how you said of like when HighLevel pushes out something, you kind of just wait for the early adopters to get it right and then move it over. So
100%.
Unfortunately, just because of our use case, I've had to be an early adopter with the Arive things, and man, it's super pain. I mean, they broke literally all of my zaps with their last update. They just literally changed everything.
Yeah, I thought I was going to ask to look at the trigger payload for that zap, because I think that's changed substantially since like you originally set that zap up. When I went in and looked, it looked like the status updates are now triggering, are now sending a full payload so that you don't have to do that second get step.
It doesn't get loan detailed dates. So that's the one you have to do that second date. So if you can get all the contact information and you can get a lot of the loan information, but you have to do the second step because that step is, you have to do the first step because the second step, you have to generate an ID in order to run the second step.
Gotcha. And then you're storing that loan ID inside of HighLevel so that it's easier to
I don't know why
find
it's not in
your.
this one. For whatever
Okay,
reason, this account doesn't have it, but normally it says Arive ID in my
cool.
other. I'm in like a test account right now.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Cool. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing. What what else, like, where else are you going with this? Do you know, like, do you feel like you've got pretty much your foundation built out for this, or do you have other functionality that you're looking forward to implementing?
Um, Calendar is probably still the biggest one. I'm creating as an actual snapshot of what I want the calendar to look like that is simple enough that meets everyone's needs, but complex enough that it can meet, kind of the super user needs too.
Hmm.
Um, and it was confusing at first because I didn't realize that when you create the calendar, even though it's an individual user, you put it as round robin.
Hmm.
Which I was like, is this a conceptually didn't make it's like there should be a third option of just like
Oh, for
single
sure.
or
I
without.
spent probably an hour and a half trying to figure out how to create a single user calendar before I finally recognized, oh shit, okay, it's just a round robin with only one user. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Which is I don't know if there's a script or something that can be run, but I'm having like when I'm pushing that snapshot out too, you have to go in and actually physically assign that user in the new snapshot with a new user, right?
yeah, like because it wouldn't have any, like, the system wouldn't have any way to identify like what user to associate with that.
Correct.
So you'd have to like set up some sort of like, yeah, I don't even know if you could programmatically, but I'm sure there would be some way to do it where you just take any user, the first user that's in the account, and assign it to that calendar or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
that's where I'm in right now is I mean, I have my team and then 27 now other loan officers within Barrett using my platform. And I've spent a bunch of time of updating users and writing the onboarding on how to do that. Cause I just didn't even realize that was going to be a thing.
That's funny. That's just one of those things. I was talking to Andrew Pollock yesterday, and he was very much kind of the same mindset of like, oh well, I'm opening this can of worms, but I know it's going to open this can of worms and that can of worms too. But you just never know until you start doing it.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to be involved in it. But yeah, this is really cool. So the of the 27 LOs that you have, how many of those are using this Arive integration? Is that like something that you're supporting natively, or is that like an add-on that you're helping a couple of them with?
Yeah. So I made the users have an extra step to if they wanted it, they could do advanced onboarding. And I built a whole survey here. Uh, I'll just show you this survey too.
Oh,
So I had to build this onboarding survey. And the other thing that I didn't even realize the power of is the membership. Man, that's a super powerful tool to be able to use. Like I'm building this out now as I'm onboarding people of like, hey, upload your audience to here. Like here's step one. So they go through and have a kind of sequence of events that they're doing. So
and you're doing that through memberships?
yep.
That's cool. We haven't started to scratch the surface on memberships yet, but I've known that that's going to be big. I even think, like, from the standpoint of loan officer, like at some point I think that there will be power users of the system that have like their own membership area for their prospects,
Oh,
like,
I'm building that for my VA like master class that I do. Um,
yeah,
and just even on that front page, it's like, hey, if you want to get a head start, here's a 4-step process on basics of the VA loan. Right.
yeah,
And they just
yeah,
register and go into this membership. And it feels special, right? You're in this member portal now.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so onboarding, these are just pictures that we put with the text, different texts that go out. So it's just different fun pictures. This is one of those texts that I just kind of ask people, hey, do you like this or not? This is my best text, by the way, if anyone wants to copy this. This is me telling you, look forward to helping you play Monopoly the right way. You don't win if you don't buy properties. We have a little gift for you if you want to meet up and we can go over your plan.
That's sick. That's sick. And that's a fun game. I love Monopoly Deal.
It's like 10 minutes to play Monopoly. And so this was the hardest part, getting people to put their own Zapier information. So I had to build I just built this into a survey, did a little support video for them to watch it inside of the survey, download, just kind of that first steps. I just built it as an advanced onboarding survey.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Oh yeah. Thanks, dude. Thanks, bro.
That's it.
Nice. I like it, dude. I like it. Well, man, I'm looking forward to some bomb ass fish tacos and a good baseball game this evening.
Yeah.
For those of you guys that don't know, Jared and I are hanging out down in San Diego tonight. Going to the Padres game, and what's the place called? Mitch's
Seafood. It'd be freakier if any of you did know. If you did know and you were stalking us and you knew that we were going to Mitch's tonight.
Yeah, no shit. For those of you guys that don't know, hopefully everybody. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Emmett has joined. Todd's on as well. I don't see Emmett in the group. Did he join the Facebook live? Yeah, go Padres. Hell yeah. I don't see Emmett in the group, so he must be on Facebook. So Emmett, if you're on, dude, go ahead and no, he must have just left. He was in for a minute. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Todd, what about you, man? What do you got going on? I know we talked a little bit last week. And you said that you don't have a whole lot going on inside a high level. Are you getting any inspiration as we talk about stuff, or still kind of doing the same stuff?
Yeah, still baby steps. I'm starting to get using like some text and stuff like that, but I don't really have any active like drip campaigns or anything like that going on. And not really using it for client outreach, more so just agent, using it to help manage my agent outbound calls and text and stuff like that. No.
And that's a good use for it regardless. Are you using the lifetime deal that you got with Zale? Did I remember that right? Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Somebody hit me up recently and said that their like free version or their lifetime version was going away. And I know that I've heard of a couple loan officers that had the Zale one. Is that related to you at all? Do you know anything about that?
I haven't heard from him.
So. Okay. So it might not be Zale. He might have a different one. I was just curious.
Right.
Cool. Somebody that we will be you'll hear from a lot going forward, and somebody that we're working with a lot over the next couple of weeks, especially, but going forward after that is Jeff Zimpher and his like agent classes, like his My Agent Academy or My Agent Pro or something like that is what he calls it. But we've talked about it a little bit already, where it's essentially an entire infrastructure for loan officers to be able to offer classes for real estate agent, be it virtual or in person. In my opinion, I mean, granted, I think there's a ton of value in running classes in person. Don't get me wrong, but I think that people are missing the boat massively if they don't look at this as an opportunity to create massive leverage through like virtual training sessions. Like, yes, the belly to belly isn't as good, but your point of leverage is just so much greater. I mean, if you're in a state like California, Texas, or Florida, North Carolina, I mean, there's a lot of states that have enough population to support this, where you run statewide marketing campaigns to get agents to show up to your webinars, and you have 100, 200 agents. Like, I mean, I truly think that's going to be a massive play for some heavy hitters for the next 5 to 10 years. And anyways, a short story long, where I was going with this, Todd, is Jeff has a like as part of Jeff's service, he also helps you get 200 agent, like scrape a list of 200 agents based on, you know, criteria that you set up with him. Scrape a list of 200 agents to start marketing those classes to. And he does it all for pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $1,000 setup and $400 a month or something. Maybe it was $300 a month even. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I think it was $395, $400 a month, which is it's crazy. It's lower price point than ours. You don't have ad spend, right? You don't have ad spend that you have to worry about with it. And it's infrastructure, you know, it's an infrastructure that, like I said, I'm very bullish on for loan officers going forward. So just throwing out little plug there for Jeff and what he's got going on. Like I said, we'll be kind of doing some work together over the next month or two. So you'll see options to be able to leverage both what we're doing and what he's doing. At least without the consumer direct, without the lead gen stuff, but as far as like all of the marketing campaigns that we're putting inside of Empower, inside of HighLevel, all the different pipelines, milestone updates, the playbooks that we got. Let me share my screen really quick so that you guys can see what I'm talking about when I say playbooks, because this is a huge opportunity for loan officers as well that I feel like is going underutilized right now. Okay, so I'm in here. Oh, we're gonna go Empower LO support. So this is something that all of our clients get access to. You'll see us drop links every once in a while inside the Facebook group that link to this. And so like if you bookmark it, you're gonna have access to it whether or not you're a client of ours. Now you won't get the chat support, which is a huge value add for people that are using our white label. Is we have live chat support powered by our team in Boise, Idaho. So not international, not outsourced, not one of these like white label support plugins like Extendly or GHL support or anything like that. It's us, it's our team. We work with loan officers every day, so that's a huge value add, obviously. But this help center, if you go down and you scroll down to level up your approach. By the way, Lindsay is like the mastermind genius behind our help center. This is kind of a white label solution to start with, but we've taken it and we've gone, we as in Lindsay and Lindsay and Nick, a little bit of Nick as well. But Lindsay predominantly coming in here and really taking it to another level. So going in here, level up your approach, right? Realtor partnership outreach, being able to come in here and just go through this whole thing. This is basically our like the PDF playbooks that you'll see us like boosting or running ads to on Facebook. So you guys probably have seen us boost like our lead conversion playbook. We boosted like what was the other one? More lead conversion, realtor outreach, 3 keys to converting mortgage leads over text. We've got a new one that's not here yet, which is the AI outreach. So that one we're pushing as well. So any of those PDF files, first off, all you need to do to get that PDF is either ask in the group, because if you're in the group, then we already have your contact information. We don't need to ask. We don't need to put you through like a landing page and have you fill out a form and stuff. Just ask me, Ari, Mike, anybody that you see in the group. Ask if you hear about any of our playbooks and you want access to one of those, we'll just send it to you directly. Otherwise, you can go to our website and go to free resources, and you'll find a bunch of stuff. You'll find those playbooks in there as well. And what I'm getting at is those playbooks are in a PDF format. Those playbooks are meant to be valuable to anybody, regardless of the marketing automation system or the CRM that they're using. Whereas if you come into here and you access the stuff through here, it's very, very specific and tailored to your experience within HighLevel. Personally, I think that they're good supplements to each other. I think having the PDF that we send out, there are little tidbits and the information is presented a little bit differently than you'll find it in here. But at the end of the day, this help center and all of the guides that we have in here, advanced training, being able to integrate outside sources, what is Zapier, right? Zapier guides, social media training, all this stuff. Don't forget that this is in here, because again, like our goal is to create more access to these like next level technology adaptations, I guess. I'm not that great with my words today. You can tell I've been on vacation for a week. But basically we're trying to increase access to high level. We're trying to increase access to marketing practices that aren't really nearly as technical as some of our conversations would lead you to believe, but you got to start somewhere. You got to put one foot in front of the other. And then by the time you look up, you'll be shocked at how much you know about this and how little, the people that you might be paying to do marketing for you, how little they know and understand about this. And at the end of the day, if you want to be, if you're pretty dead set on originating loans for the rest of your life or for the rest of your career, and your business looking the way that it looks right now, or the way that you picture it in your head, if you're pretty dead set on that and fulfilled and happy with that, then there's a lot of this stuff that it's going to make sense to outsource or find somebody to partner with, or whether it's a company or an individual to help you out with a lot of these things. But if you got maybe not bigger aspirations isn't the right word, but if your vision of your success is not tied to like your role in the mortgage industry, then learning this stuff is just more tools in your tool belt. Like the kind of stuff that we are learning and that we're teaching loan officers, and that Jared is learning by going through this practice, and that we have other loan officers that are really getting kind of into the weeds with this stuff. The kind of stuff that they're learning, this is stuff that's going to serve them no matter what industry or where their mortgage business takes them. This is stuff that is going to timelessly serve them and their careers. So whether they decide that eventually they're going to market for loan officers, or whether they decide that they want to do marketing for a mortgage company, or market, like I know a lot of loan officers have like spouses that have their own businesses, or they have their own side businesses, or they have aspirations of running their own business someday. Like you want the quickest path to doing that, like get in the weeds with this stuff and learn how to make it work for your mortgage business. And I promise you that the skills that you learn, they will translate. They might not translate to being the most knowledgeable about loan programs, or being able to speak about mortgages in front of a massive audience, but it'll translate into being able to create an offer and attract people to that offer through digital means that a lot of marketing companies, there's a lot of boutique marketing agencies out there that haven't adapted to this stuff, that are at risk of going out of business. So to think that a loan officer could have a skill set that those marketing agencies don't have fairly easily by just plugging into the content that we're giving you guys and hopping on these Zoom rooms and asking questions, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. When I went down this path, I think that was kind of my mindset that differed a lot from other loan officers. I remember one loan officer in particular, old school guy. I still see him at some networking events in the area, specifically the charity event that we do every quarter as a team. And I remember distinctly, like when I first started doing this stuff and I started generating leads, started running Google ads, and I was at CMG, and he walks in and he said, "Did you clear this with compliance?" And first off, the answer was no. I did not clear it with compliance. I had our branch manager at the time kind of had relayed his mindset into me, which was beg for forgiveness, don't ask for permission. Like when it comes to marketing for your business, don't be stupid, obviously, right? Don't go out there and put together fake mailers with fake VA letterhead and send that shit out and expect to be able to get away with it. But if we're talking about creatively marketing my business in an ethical way, he kind of gave me like not a green light, but a blind eye to operate under. And that was a huge blessing for me and my business. So when this loan officer that was in the office, older school guy, comes and asks, "Did you clear it with compliance?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And I explained to him the position that the branch manager had taken and that I was taking that same position. His response was, "Well, it's your license, it's not his, right? If you get in trouble, it's your license they're coming after. It's not his." And first off, I didn't really agree with that. I've always felt like the target on my back as an individual loan officer wasn't big enough that I was going to get in trouble for it. And I never did. And of course now we're approved with, some of the biggest, tightest compliance departments across the country. So it's not a big deal. But at the time, we didn't know. We had no idea. I had no idea. Neither did he, whether or not this was compliant, whether or not, businesses were going to have a problem with it or whatever. And anyways, my response was that what I'm working on is bigger than my mortgage license. Like what I'm working on and what I'm learning, like if somebody wants to come in and take my license for this shit, then I'll just pick up and I'll take it into a different industry. And that was the first time that I kind of articulated what I'm talking about right now. And again, I'm not like, I don't want to make this sound like I'm trying to convince people that their future is not in the mortgage industry or anything like that. But what I'm trying to relay is the value of building skills that translate to other industries, regardless of what you view as your future for the mortgage industry, because we all know that we don't have a lot of control over what happens in this industry as individual loan officers. And when I started Empower 5-6 years ago, I thought that by this time that the top 3 mortgage companies in the country were going to be Rocket Mortgage, Amazon Mortgage, and Zillow Home Loans. That's what I thought 5-6 years ago when I started doing this. I thought that was the direction we were headed in. And I would like to think that we've had some sort of positive impact on the change trajectory of that. But regardless, either way, the point is we have no idea what the next 5 years in this industry brings. But what we can do is we can arm ourselves with skills and with tools that if somebody were to pull the rug out from under us, be it a regulator, be it a company, whatever it is, if somebody were to pull the rug out from under us, we've got skills and abilities and technology that can translate across industry lines that can add value regardless of what industry you're in. To me, there's a lot of power in that. And I think that there's a lot of loan officers out there that see the value in that as well. So not to stand up here on my soapbox or anything like that, but I'm not even exactly sure how I arrived at the feeling compelled to share that with you guys, but I do. Todd, you being on your screen I didn't spotlight my video this time, so we're just hanging out looking at Todd's name here. Maybe that's part of what. There we go. I pinned that. Let me see. Let me spotlight this real quick. Maybe that's part of what made me reclaim host, more spotlight. There we go. Continue. Okay. Maybe that's part of what made me feel compelled is Todd seeing that you've got this tool in front of you and you're using it, putting it to good use in one area of your business, but I'm hoping maybe I can help push you over the edge to explore the uses in other parts of your business by saying, hey, it may not seem like the picture perfect way to run your mortgage business based on the way that we've always been taught. But there are a lot of ancillary benefits to investing into something like this, that if you can find a way to bring in mortgage income through HighLevel and through learning this tool, I can't imagine that you'd end up regretting it, that anybody's going to end up regretting the time that they invested into HighLevel. So yeah, anyways, like I said, I'll step off the soapbox. I didn't mean to go too deep into that rant. But let's see, we got Todd still on the call. Looks like we've dropped just about everybody except for Todd. So Todd, I know that we touched on you already, but if you have any questions or anything, since you're the last one standing here, I want to make sure I leave it open to you. If you have any questions, anything you'd like me to go over before we hop off here.
No, man, I enjoy, I appreciate you doing this every week, and hopefully I do it more for soaking in things, and certainly you've been helpful when I have had some things come up that you and your team have been really helpful and graciously helpful to help me figure out. I would love to leverage this thing more than what I am, and really try to free up some time to do other productive things, right? And so I'll keep thinking through those things a bit.
Cool. Well, keep hopping on, man. It's like a gym membership at times, right? Like, man, there were times there have been multiple times. I mean, I've blown up a little bit and shrunk down a little bit a couple times over my adult life, and times that I go to the gym and I make it all the way to the fucking parking lot of the gym, sitting in my car before I decide, man, not today, and turn around. I hate to admit that, but that shit has happened to me before. And I tell myself, you know what, at least I got in my car. At least I made it all the way there. That's more than somebody else can say. And one of these times, maybe I get my fat ass off my seat and actually go lift some weights. It happens sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. But either way, there's a lot of value to just you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. So there's a lot of value to just jumping on and being in synergy with the group. And we appreciate you being on here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm going to cut this call off then. Todd, thanks for hopping on. Jared, thank you so much for sharing everything that you did around the Arive stuff. Lindsay, I hope you got some stuff out of that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when I get back to the office. But yeah, thanks for joining. Those of you guys that were on, tune in next Tuesday for our next weekly Zoom room. It's always at the same time every week. But then also you should be seeing our next GHL weekly breakdown on Thursday. But until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you at the top.